Well, fancy seeing you here. My name is Salve and welcome back to Cuckoo for Books, and today is the third and final part of my library makeover series. So here we are finally at the tail end of our journey making over my library. I'm super excited to show you guys the brand new and improved. I think so. I don't know if you'll think so. You might just be like, you just moved around a few bits of furniture and swapped some books around. This is not a makeover. But to me, it makes a huge difference, and like I said, I can't wait to share it with you guys. A little disclaimer, I'm doing this completely on my own. The camera's set up on a stationary tripod. I don't have one of those newfangled vlogger tripod thingies. Nobody's filming with me. I know people usually in house tours or room tours have somebody like, hey, follow me, and the camera moves, but I do not have that luxury, and it's literally gonna be a one-woman show, but we'll make a go of it. The first thing I wanted to do when making over the library was to get the lights out of the main area, because having these big studio lights removed the cozy vibe of the room. At the same time, I didn't want to put it in another room because it's such a hassle to move it back and forth every time I film. So I was looking for a nook in the room where I can store the studio lights and at the same time still maintain the library-esque vibe of the room further in there. And look, the Narnia door, I love it, but I don't actually use it to travel back and forth between the library that often. So I decided to store them right here, right outside the Narnia door. If I'm gonna use it, then I'm gonna move it and we can still have a proper library. And now we're gonna go skedaddle into the main area of the room. I don't know why I said skedaddle, but we're gonna head on over to the main room. Come along! So on the first stop of our new and improved library tour, or second stop really, because we were talking about the studio lights just a while back. Anyway, I would like you guys to help me welcome this new addition to our library, but not by any means a new addition to the house at all. This is usually in my room, and if you'll notice, it's quite devoid of books. I really didn't bring it over to be an extra bookshelf because Lord knows I have enough of those. If you watch the first and second episodes of this library makeover series, I go on and on and on about how I don't have enough space on my bookshelves for the actual books because I filled it to the brim with random knickknacks. So that's the reason why I brought this extra shelf in. So on the top shelf, I didn't move it from my room. These are travel knickknacks and souvenirs that I've got. And for the second shelf over here, these are the books that I've read for the quarter that I haven't wrapped up yet, and it's quite shameful and I don't want to turn around because I'm embarrassed, but you'll see that I've only read 2 full-length novels for the month of July and a play. But also on this shelf, you'll have my very simple solution for, oh my gosh, I don't know where in the world I've placed my bookmarks. A little bookmark tray. And if you'll hold on one second, I'm gonna go grab a seat and then show you the rest of the shelves on this gold shelf because Lord knows I need a seat and I am not gonna squat for like the whole 5 minutes it takes me to film it. So I will be right back. The shelf below that is where I put my, if you can read, books I haven't read, but these are only a fraction of the books that I've not read yet, but these are the ones like right at the top of my to be read pile. So these are the books that I'll most likely go to like, oh, there's a sequel I need to read, there's a book rack of a friend I need to read, so these go on this shelf. So the shelf below contains my photo albums and also my collection of theater souvenir programs. I just recently started this, so most of them are from local Filipino shows, but I really love, and some of the shows I got to be a part of, like backstage, oh, I wish on stage, but I got to intern on some of them, so it's a really special box. It's a hotel box. I don't know if they used to put food in it, but it's actually just a giveaway box, but I think it's really cool because you pull out a panel and shwing! Really cute box. So that's where I put all my theater souvenir programs, like Beautiful, which was staged last year. Shout out to Abby and Yvonne, who were interns on that production, but I just watched it as a fan and I loved it. On the shelf below are big coffee table books, and I've always had a hard time figuring out where to put coffee table books because they're so big, so they don't really belong on a normal shelf. It either has to go into the communal family area downstairs, but I really wanted to have my own collection up here. As of now, it contains 2 books, the Hamilton and one of the Avatar graphic novels, and that's it. But I love coffee table books and I hope to grow my collection of that. I can't believe I just said grow my collection when I already have, I'm literally surrounded by books. Ah, capitalism. I feel like I'm a newscaster, like there's no other way to show off this library tour but to have me to one side and being like, and over here in the news right now. But if you'll see it, I kind of just cleaned up the big sofa bed. I added all of the cushions there and I'm gonna take you a bit closer. Well, hello there. I don't know why I am posing this way except for the novelty of it, but look, a bed that I actually can relax on instead of being covered by junk and debris from my booktube filming videos. Look, I can recline. Anyway, this is now my new relaxed, open, actually livable bed, and I feel weird lying down in that position for so long. The Catholic schoolgirl in me is shaken, but I just wanted to display how actually livable and restable and lie downable the bed now is instead of being used as an extension of a table, essentially a prop table. It's got new cushions, and by new I mean I stole it from the living room downstairs, and one of my favorite cushions, which says between the pages of a book is a wonderful place to be, and I agree. But now I can actually lie down on it and read, and it's actually livable for guests. Not that we'll have any guests because of the pandemic. Anyway, let's move on. Hello. I feel like every clip in this video starts with me going, hello. As you can see, the mountains and giant Tupperware boxes of junk are gone. This is my new favorite part of the library, absolutely, and this isn't the same armchair that was here before because that one I feel like was just a little bit wide and a little bit unwieldy, and this is more tall and slim and narrow. The greatest place to prop up my feet and have a little read, and if you'll see, I've got a little lamp. That was really anticlimactic. Let's try that again. Ah! And this was just from my old room that I never actually used, so I just moved it on over here where it would actually be useful. This ottoman is from downstairs as well. This is part of the Illumicrate King of Scars box, and it's got foxes all over, which is representative of Nikolai, who is one of the protagonists of that book. But for now, I'm gonna take you over to this little TBR cart that you might see peeking over this corner, and we're gonna chat about that. So here I am, squared away, cozy on the floor, right next to my old TBR cart, or new TBR cart, I guess. I only have a few books on it, as you can see, and then the rest, I'm gonna try to hold this up fancily. Fake flowers, but I thought they added a nice little oomph to the cart. The main reason why I wanted it, not because I wanted to fill it up. As I said, I have enough bookshelves. My real reason why I wanted to have an extra TBR cart was because I didn't want the same thing to happen again that you clearly saw on the second episode, which was my shelves literally breaking down under the weight of the books. I have no intention of filling up this cart. Ugh. If I can see they're getting too heavy and one of the shelves is threatening to break again, I'll be like, TBR cart to the rescue, I will take some of the weight from you. On the bottom shelf is where I put like my little children's books and story books that I love collecting, and I've always found it quite difficult to find a place for them on my shelves because they're wide and they're flat and they don't really go into the shelves. I was really happy to find a bonus purpose for this TBR cart, and it's where I'm gonna place all my storybooks in. That is about it when it comes to like the furniture changes in this new library. I can totally understand if you're not that big of a bookworm, you can switch off right now, although I'm hoping you don't. Just like watch till the end, give your girl a little support. From now till the end of the video, it's gonna be me showing you the different changes in the actual shelves themselves. For now, we're back right across the Narnia door, and I just wanted to take a quick stop here to show you one thing that I wasn't quite able to let go of. And from the top all the way going down 3 shelves are my dystopian books, and I've sort of nudged it over here. Like I said, they were a product of my teenage years. I loved reading them at the time, but now I have new genres that I'd rather read about and put in the center of the library. I still really wanted to maintain having the Narnia books right across the Narnia door, and that's why they're still here. And I'm also just gonna point out one little thing on the shelf below, and if you're quite eagle-eyed, which I am not, I have really bad vision without my glasses, but I digress, you'll see a little knickknack, and I just want to talk about that for just a quick second. And it's a framed photo of the Bookworms Unite PH team at the Patron Saints of Nothing book launch here in Manila with the author Randy Ribai, and I thought if I had to add any knickknack to these shelves, it would have to be this because it was one of the best, most amazing bookish moments ever. But I just wanted to take the time to point that out, and now let's go look at the rest of the shelves. Well, hello again. This is really such a dumb way of posing, but it is the only way I can show these books on the ground. I moved all of the middle grade books down here, and I tried to squish them in. As you can tell from here, like, I had no qualms about just shoving them all together because as much of a nostalgia freak as I am, they were taking up too much space on the upper shelves where I had more current books that I was interested in, and there is a part of me that I'm too lazy to get the tripod out, so I'm just gonna hold it up. I do have younger relatives, and I don't know, in my mind it's kind of cute, like, oh, I put the kids book on the bottom shelves because if it was on an upper shelf, my cousins, younger cousins, my nieces and nephews wouldn't be able to reach it up there, so it's almost like, here, you can borrow all the books you want, in a space you can easily reach. So I don't know why that's the concept I had. The entire bottom shelf of all 7 shelves are now full of like middle grade children's books, chick lit back in the 2000s, like preteen books, and that's where they all are now. Whew, that's a bit close, don't you think? Oh, because we're zoomed in. Ah, that's better. This is where I've placed my contemporary romance books, and I've decided to finally cleave it from it's a weird word, but I've separated it from the contemporary thriller books just because I want to make good on my word and read more of that genre. So that's why this has got a lot of space. And if you like my little touch, I put a little heart on it. So now we're back with the TBR shelf, and I didn't do a thing to it aside from fix this broken shelf. And the reason I didn't move it at all is because I personally feel such a sense of accomplishment whenever I move a book from the TBR pile to the finished shelves. So I wanted to keep on with that feeling of satisfaction of like, they're a mess now, and once I read them, they go through this metamorphosis of being arranged by genre. It sounds absolutely insane. Like, now I'm listening to myself speak and I'm like, you are way too invested in your books, but that is who I am, so that's why I didn't fix these books at all. Okay, so now I am up on a stool about a foot off the ground, and I thought this was the best way to show you what I changed with my shelves. It could also be the best way to sprain an ankle. We shall see. What I did, and I already felt the stool move. Awesome. I put all the supernatural books way up top, and instead of making them stacked down, they just cover the entire top shelf. And like I said, the dystopian just takes up its own corner in the corner. And what I put in the center especially are my historical fiction and nonfiction books. They are now in the primo spot for filming because I'm a history geek, and why should I deny that? So they are gonna be what you see when I film. What I did specifically for this new and improved library series is I wanted there to be enough room, and if that meant spacing out the books a little more, then so be it, because my problem I've learned is when I read new books of a genre, I try to fit it in and there's no more space, which is why if you look up here, I'm gonna try to move this, just above my head, there is an actual like empty shelf with just knickknacks, because right below it is my royal fiction / fantasy books. Tamora Pierce over there. Right behind me are more fantasy books, and I'm a YA fantasy girl, so odds are I'm gonna read more and more of those books. A lot of fantasy books are on my TBR, so that's why I intentionally left a space, because we all know it's gonna get filled up by me eventually, I am so sure. And now we are back on level ground, and this is where I usually film, so this is what you will see from now on whenever I do my videos. I really want to read a lot more diverse fantasy fiction, and like I said, that's why I left it open. Behind me you see my Tamora Pierce books, because duh. But also on top here are my royal fiction books, which is another subgenre I really love. Like I said, if you're not like a hardcore bookworm, you probably won't notice a difference, but to me it makes like a huge difference. I now get to have the genres behind me that I absolutely love. Popular names in fiction, books that don't need advertising because they're already so gosh darn popular and long lasting. They're just above, so you don't really see them because they don't really need any further promotion. And when I'm filming from here, I mean, I guess it's a way to promote books, so I decided to put here the books that actually I want to talk about and I want to share. So this was the last thing I wanted to point out before I ended the video, and it's one of these shelves that I'm really happy about. Both these books, The Grimms and The Complete Fairy Tales of Hans Christian Andersen, I was gifted as a birthday gift. Obviously gifted as a birthday gift, that was redundant. This is actually just a cop-out way of saying I'm gonna read more fantasy books, and I needed a filler in the meantime, so that's why I very much, as you can see, took the space and was very generous with the space for my fairy tale books, despite it only having 3 books on the shelf. But what I did in the meantime was fill it up with fairy tale knickknacks that I had lying around, like this rose, which was given to me by my boyfriend, and this little, I don't know if you can see because it's glass, but it's Cinderella's glass slipper, and I got this from when Lea Salonga did Cinderella here in Manila, like, ooh, probably 10 years ago. Like I said, I'm a pack rat, I can't get rid of things. I cannot gracefully put that back down. Awesome. And right next to it, and this is one of my favorites, the magic lamp from Aladdin, which I got from Disneyland, again, about 10 years ago or more. But I really love this part of the shelf. I feel like it's such a magical part of the bookshelf. Right below, I've actually put the fairy tale retellings that I went on and on about in the first bookshelf tour, but I mean, if you want to hear me go on and on about that, then just watch the first episode of this series. But for now, let's wrap this baby up, shall we? for not only this video, but my entire library makeover series. I am probably sweating so much that I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's also started to rain, so we are ending this just in time. I really had a lot of fun doing this. It did take up a lot of my time during lockdown, which was exactly the project I wanted to do, to have something to keep me busy. So I would say this whole thing was a success. When the lockdown has eased up a little bit here in Manila, I would like to make a lot more changes, like frame some bookish posters I have, or maybe just add like a new carpet or something. And maybe someday when I'll be able to move into my own house, we'll do another one of these things. And when was the last time I moved? 6 years, so maybe I'll see you in another 6 years and we'll do this all over again. But thank you guys so much for sticking around for this 3-part series. You can follow me on my other bookish adventures on Twitter and Instagram. I'm both @cuckoo4books. Please subscribe and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye guys!